Content warning. Pareidolia.
Welcome to the Rue Papers.
There's water everywhere, Rose. All that rain last night, and the river was already high. Now it's backed up into the drains. This happens at least twice a year. Why isn't it fixed yet? How am I supposed to work down here? It can't be safe.
We've switched off the electrics. You won't get a shock.
I'm more worried about some sort of sea monster swimming up and biting my leg.
I really don't think it would fit through the grate.
Sometimes I'm not sure if you really don't get the jokes or if you're just secretly laughing at me.
You'll never know. The water is draining away already. You can see that. It was never more than an inch.
An inch of river water. Healthy.
It's not river water.
Please don't tell me it's from a sewer. I don't care what weird deal with eldritch beings you have going on here. I am not working in a sewage spill.
It's not sewer water either. I did some research and it turns out there used to be a wishing well on this site. Pure, clean spring water. It's burst its boundaries, that's all. Perhaps you'd like to make a wish.
I have several wishes I'd like to make, starting with leaving this basement.
Now, Beatrice, we both know that's not true, isn't it? You do amuse me with your facade of anger at your enforced role, and your protestations and demands to leave, and your insistence that I am controlling you with eldritch beings, when in fact we both know that you would stay down here until the crack of doom, simply out of your choice. That I could not physically drag you away, that if I locked the door to the basement, you would smash it down to get in, that if the building burned, you would scrabble in the ashes for your last story. There are no eldritch beings or compulsions at work here, only your own need to be a part of this story. Isn't that right?
Yes. Yes, Rose.
Good. I am so glad that we understand each other. Now, the water will be gone soon. I see that you already have another story ready and a large cup of coffee, your drug of choice. One of your drugs of choice. So let's say no more about it, and I will leave you alone to read. You always do read alone, don't you? Well, no human companionship anyway. You still have your whisperers.
How does she do that? How does she know? Are you here? Are you with me? Right. Right, I do have a story for us. It's an article from a magazine from the 70s. There's a picture of a woman sitting on a very 70s sofa with that flowery wallpaper behind her. Probably brown. I will never get how the 70s could be so colourful and yet so brown. And the photo is all moody and shadowy. And the headline says, "I see the faces everywhere." Mrs. Marjorie Walker, 39, says she is at her wit's end. Her council house is haunted, and she says that North Riding Council will do nothing about it. She says the trouble started in January 1971. I was doing the washing up, just staring out the window, as you do, and I was looking. I noticed a face in the pattern of the curtain. I thought that was a bit odd, a bit unsettling, but I know that we tend to make patterns into faces. When I was a child, I used to sit in front of Nan's flowery wallpaper and unfocus my eyes a bit and see fairies. So I shook the curtain to make the face go away. Only it didn't. The face stayed. It wasn't a nice face. It was sort of grinning at me. Just a couple of folds and a bit of the pattern, but it looked like it could see me. So I pulled the curtain closed and got all the photos out and then walked away. Later on, I was walking by the kitchen and I glanced over, and the face was still there. I called my husband, Barry, over and asked if he could see it, and he said he could, and it was a bit creepy. But nothing we could do would make the face go away. And we were worried it would scare the kids. So we took the curtain down and thought that was it. But of course it didn't end there. In the following weeks, Mrs. Walker noticed more and more faces appearing. It sounds silly, but it was little Jane that noticed it first. She's only 3. She was eating her breakfast and she screamed and said the man in the table was pulling faces. Well, it's a Formica table with those odd patterns. So I thought she'd seen a face in the pattern, like I had in the curtain. And when I looked down, sure enough, there was a face. So I threw a tablecloth over it and she said, "It's no good, Mummy, he's still there." And when I looked, he was. This nasty, scowling face. Well, I sent her to go and play with her friends in the garden. I wasn't sure what to do. Getting rid of the curtain was one thing, but an entire kitchen table? It just wasn't practical. So I put the fruit bowl on top of it and waited for Barry to get home. Well, when he did, the face had gone. I couldn't see it at all, and neither could Jane. We thought it was just a silly coincidence. But then Barry had to go away for work, and the girls went to stay with their nan for a week, and that's when it got worse. The curtain had gone, but when I closed the living room curtains, it was back. That face in the curtain, grinning at me. I went out of the room and shut the door. But then when I sat at the kitchen table, I saw the face too, in the Formica, in a different place. And when I looked around, I saw faces all around me, in the folds of my housecoat on the back of the kitchen door, and the tiles on the floor, and the reflections in the window. That was the worst, because it looked like it was standing behind me. I was surrounded by faces, and none of them were kind. But I ran, of course. Mrs. Walker called her husband, who had trouble believing her. He told her that he would return straight away. He arrived that night and accompanied his wife back to the home, where everything seemed normal. We went to bed as usual. I was that embarrassed. He looked all around the house and there were no faces. It had all been in my head. We went to sleep as normal, except it was a noisy night. All houses creak at night, don't they? And the wind makes the gate slam, and you hear foxes scream in the garden, and occasionally someone driving by. It's just the normal night noises, isn't it? Except that night, it was like it was magnified. Like the whole house was caught in a gale, although there was no gale that night. Or the garden was full of foxes, but I never saw any. It got so bad we got up and checked the house again, but there was nothing there. In the end, we just sat in the kitchen and waited for the dawn. And then when it came, that's when the faces came back. All over, on the kitchen floor, and in the curtains, and reflected in the coffee pot, and everywhere. Barry was sitting opposite me at the kitchen table, and he saw them all appear as the light got brighter. He just stared at them, and then he looked over my shoulder at the kitchen door. His eyes just got wide, and he started to say something like, "You're not supposed to be here!" And then he collapsed. He clutched his chest and collapsed. Mr. Walker had suffered a massive heart attack. Luckily, an ambulance arrived in time, and Mr. Walker was taken to the hospital. He is now alive and well. As for the Walkers, they still live in that house. It's the council, you see. They won't place us anywhere else, Mrs. Walker said. But the faces are gone now. We don't see them. And Mr. Walker's words before he collapsed? He has no memory of them and can't clarify what he meant. Of course, the past history of the site was investigated. No cemeteries, no burial of any kind, no supernatural occurrences of any kind. The area was merely a field before being built on. Of course, the human eye does tend to see human faces, but there are only random shapes, although it is odd that both Mr. and Mrs. Walker saw the faces. It is a pity that neither thought to take a photograph, as they do not own a camera. Perhaps the answer to this mystery lies in whatever Mr. Walker saw behind Mrs. Walker that prompted him to say, "You're not supposed to be here," but he denies knowing anything about it. Mrs. Walker has a different explanation. "This all started," she says, "when I lost my cup of stars." Cup of stars? What does that mean? It triggers a memory, but what? Let me Google it. Just shopping sites, really. Where have I heard that before?
It's from a book, I think. But you know what puzzles me? Another council house.
How much did you hear, Elena?
All of it. I slipped in before you started. Not very situationally aware, are you? Anything could have happened.
Worse than what's actually happening?
Fair point. No, the council house thing. People talk about poltergeists in big old-fashioned mansions, but there's quite a catalogue of these kind of hauntings taking place in ordinary council homes, like in Enfield or Battersea. I think the Pontefract case too. Or was that just an ordinary
I
house?
have no idea what you're talking about.
Really? These are classic hauntings. The kind of thing that anyone with a basic knowledge of weird shit knows about. And you have far more than a basic knowledge, Bea.
I genuinely don't know anything about these.
Look, I'll show you. Shift over and let me at the computer. Wait. That's not... Where is it? It was all here before. All kinds of information. I got dozens of hits.
Well, you're not getting anything now, are you?
But I read up about them. I made notes on my phone. Hang on. Here's the document, see?
That's just gibberish, Elena. You've typed up complete gibberish.
No, I had notes. I had notes. How else would I know about them if I hadn't researched them? I knew about these cases, and I've read one about faces on the kitchen floor, too. Let me research that. Look! No way, it was here a second ago. You saw it, didn't you? You saw it.
Elena, it's a website about kitchen flooring. Nothing spooky at all. Maybe you should have a rest.
No! Maybe I made some written notes, or maybe there's a book. There was a very famous book about the Enfield poltergeist.
The what?
We were just talking about it. Right, I see. I'm leaving now, okay, Bea? Whatever else is down here, I'm going. By the way, I heard what Rose was saying about the wishing well. She's lying. There never was a wishing well. I've studied the maps.
Oh, honestly, Elena, do you think I don't know that? Something was trying to kill me. Again. And Rose lied about it. Again. Just your basic Tuesday, really.
Okay, then. I'll leave you two to your weird power games and go back to my researches.
You do that. Of course I remember, Fiona. Can't have her knowing that, though, can I? I can't have anyone knowing anything. I have my plans, and I'm beginning to put them into place. I have an idea, you see, Fiona. I know exactly what to do. But for it to work, I have to keep my secrets. So I'm not about to tell anyone anything. The only people who know the truth are you and me, my dearest listener. And you can keep my secrets, can't you? I'm trusting you. Don't let me down. Thank you for listening to the Rue Papers, written, created, and performed by Emma Butler. The voice of Elena was Sharma Kasinathan. The voice of Rose was Natalie Doig. Remember, listener, some stories should not be told, but tell them now or lose them forever.